Okay guys, welcome back. This is tutorial 2 of 3, and today we're going to be looking at how to process raw data. We're going to be looking at one type of data processing only. Of course there are many different ways you can process data, but we're going to look at the one that's probably most common throughout IB. Okay, and obviously that's going to be making a mean value and how to calculate the standard deviation. Very, very simple. Now in IB, of course, most of the time you're doing this, you're doing it for the purpose of an IA or an internal assessment. And obviously within the guidelines you have to lay things out in a certain way. So you've already got your raw data table, which obviously in your write-up you'd comment on and talk about, and then you'd say what you're going to do with it. So you might say, right, well, with my raw data I'm going to make a mean and I'm going to do the standard deviation. And to show that you want to make a separate table and probably call it processed data. That's probably the best thing to do. And what you're going to do then is you can take your independent variables, which are your enzyme concentration, and you can simply just copy and paste it. The process data that you're going to collect is a mean, and you're going to calculate an STDV, or standard deviation. Now I'm going through this quite quickly because I don't want to make the video too long and too boring, so I'm just going to call it mean and STDV. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a mean of the volumes of juice collected in our 5 different trials. Okay, so trial 1, 2 to 5 down here. Now obviously the great thing about Excel is that you can actually put in the formulas and Excel will work out what the answer is yourself. So you always have to start a formula with an equals, and you're going to calculate the average, the average, which is all the mean, and it will open a brackets box. And so what you want to do then is highlight the data that you're going to be using, close those brackets up, hit return, and it will calculate them for you. Next thing you're going to do is you are going to take the box where it's on a plus over here, so I change this to a small plus, and drag it, and that's going to repeat the formula for the other values. And so for 0.8 it's going to calculate the mean. This is the value or the mean for this data here. The second bit of data processing you're going to need to do is for the standard deviation, or the STDEV. Now you might have heard of this before, you may have not. It's a really important and useful value to calculate for your IBs, because what it tells you is the spread of data around the mean. Okay, so here is the mean, and here is the data that you collected to make that mean. Alright, so our value here, or our standard deviation, is going to give us a number which tells us how much above and below the data moves to throughout our different trials. So again, really easy to calculate. STDEV, find a value, highlight the values that you want to calculate it from, close the brackets, and then you get your number. Alright, and again that is telling us that the value, the spread of data is 0.8944279191 above and below our mean value. So what we're going to do then is we're going to drag this down to copy the formulas into the boxes. And so we can see here now that the smallest standard deviation was in our first enzyme concentration, and the highest amount of standard deviation was in our second enzyme concentration. Okay, and then it starts getting lower again down towards the higher enzyme concentrations. Okay, so that's how we process data, basically. Alright, and I'm going to stop the video there, and I'll see you in the third tutorial. Thank you.